Editing is a skill of itself. It's likely you'll make some mistakes along the way. In this video, we'll discuss what these mistakes are. Hi, I'm Iris Marsh and I help indie authors with their manuscripts so they can publish with confidence. By the end of this video, you'll have learned the 3 editing mistakes to avoid and what you can do instead. Stick until the end to find out how you can improve your story. Mistake number 1. Rushing through your editing process. You've just spent a lot of time writing your first draft and now you just want to get it published. I get it. But rushing through your edits will only make it more likely that the story isn't all that it can be. And that there will be more errors. And it will be a waste of all your efforts if you will get bad or lower reviews just because there are more spelling mistakes and inconsistencies. So be realistic as to how much time all these edits will take. In total there are 4 stages of editing and each of these stages can take several rounds. The developmental editing stage will likely take the most time and the most rounds. You need to take some time away from your manuscript so you can look at it again with fresh eyes. So you need to take that into account. Then there's some time that goes into analyzing the story and determining what needs to be changed and then actually making those changes on a global level. Then you also want to analyze each scene so that you can make sure that those scenes are good and change what is necessary. Then there is also time that goes into rewriting your descriptions, adding more emotions, evaluating your setting and how you've written it, and backstory and so on. So that can be quite time consuming. If you're also working with a developmental editor, you also need to take into account at least a month for them to read through your story and give you their recommendations, and then time for yourself to apply those changes. Then there's also line editing and copy editing. You can usually do these 2 together, so practice this for the first chapter, go through the first chapter, do some line editing and copy editing, then calculate how long this took you, and then calculate how long doing this for the entire book will take you. Then after that, there's proofreading. This is where you will take out the final minor errors. And you can do the same thing here. So practice proofreading on your first chapter, determine how long it took you, and then calculate how long it will take you to finish your entire book. And again, if you hire an editor for any of these stages, then you'll need to take into account their time as well. Mistake number 2. Being unwilling to make changes to your story. When you spend a lot of time outlining and writing your story, you may not want to make any changes, especially changes that will require a large rewrite. But if a change improves your story, it's almost always better to do it, even if it takes more time. It can make the difference between an okay story and a great one, and you want a great story after all. As I've said before, it's a good idea to take some time away from your manuscript so that you can look at it with fresh eyes. Distance yourself from it emotionally. So it's no longer your baby that you're putting out into the world. It's a story, it's a manuscript, it's a book. And you would read it as if you would read any book. So you need to be honest with yourself when you're reading your story. And when I say honest, I don't mean beat yourself up, because that's not helping anyone. Just try to be as objective as possible when you're reading through that story. And try to find spots that could use some improvement. And if you come up with an idea that will make your story a lot better, but it would require you to rewrite a lot more than if you would just leave it as is, I would still urge you to make that change, especially if it makes your story a lot better. Listen to your intuition on that one and let that guide you, instead of if it would take you a lot more time or not. Mistake number 3. Not having a system in place for your edits. It's very easy to get lost in the woods when you're editing. You'll read through your manuscript, fix some grammar here, change some wording there, then add some paragraphs for clarity at another point, and then removing a different scene altogether. But if you do all the types of editing at once, it's going to be difficult to focus at any one of them. So decide beforehand which types of editing you'll do when and how you're going to do it. This is especially important for developmental editing, as this involves a lot of different things that you can pay attention to. But it will also help you with the other types of editing. For instance, you can decide which style guide you use for copy editing or proofreading and which additional rules you'll put in there. Moreover, you can determine what you'll pay attention to when you're doing your line edits. For instance, will you just check for readability, ambiguity, repetition, or will you also try to improve certain word choices for alliteration or any other effects? When you have a plan how to tackle your edits, it'll make it a lot easier and more manageable. If you need some help with the developmental editing system, you can get my developmental editing planner, a guide, by clicking the link in the bio, and you can add the code YouTube Edits at checkout for a 60% discount. Do you recognize any of these mistakes that we've just discussed? Are there any other things that you struggle with when you're editing? Please let me know in the comments. If you'd like some more tips on editing, you can sign up for my free self-editing course on my website. You can find the link in the bio. Here you'll learn more about each stage of editing and how you can do it yourself. If you don't know what all the different types of book editing are, you can have a look at my other video, The Different Types of Book Editing Explained. Or if you would like some more tips on self-editing, you can look at my video that will give you 3 tips on how to self-edit. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to stay updated for more content. In the next video, I'll share with you a series, or we'll start a series, on how I will go from my first draft into a finished draft. So I hope it will be very helpful and educational for you as I go through that process myself, and hopefully it will give you some inspiration on how you can apply those things that I will do for your own manuscript. Thank you for watching.